Reaction now to that sermon by Bishop Budde. I'm joined by Reverend Franklin Graham, President of Samaritan's Purse, who gave an impassioned address to the inauguration ceremony on Monday. Franklin, great to have you back on Uncensored. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Piers. Thank you for having me.
An amazing moment for you to be centre stage there at the inauguration. What was that like for you?
Well, it's an honor, Piers, to be able to always pray for your leaders and to encourage the nation and those that are watching to pray for the leaders. Our president, he needs prayer. He needs help. So does J.D. Vance, our vice president. And so it was an honor, and it was just a real honor for me to be there, privilege.
You managed to avoid the temptation to launch into a sort of pretty partisan political rant from your pulpit in that moment, but the same cannot be said about Bishop Budde, who seemed to take it upon herself to scold the president, the new president, and his vice president in pretty spectacular fashion. What did you make of what she did?
Well, she was completely wrong to do that. She was mixing the LGBTQ plus agenda along with the immigrants. And because the president talks about having a new policy of just, as far as the government, it's just two genders, male and female, but that somehow the LGBTQ community is going to be maligned some way. That's not true. Like they said, she said they're going to feel unsafe. Why? Nothing's changed. They still have their freedoms and their rights as we all do. Just because the government's only going to recognize male and female. So she was wrong on that. And then to talk about, having compassion, the problems that we have with the border go to Biden. You have to lay those at his feet. And you've had a policy that welcomed people to come from around the world. And if you can just somehow get to the southern border, you can cross at great risk to yourself and come to America. And so we saw millions of people come to the United States, going through Venezuela, places like that, going through the Darien Gap, through Panama, all the way through Mexico, walking, people being raped, people being murdered. And then if you made it to the border, you had to swim, go across barbed wire and things like that to get into America. That put people at great risk. So you talk about compassion. We need a system to go back to where people can come into this country legally, where they can apply. And like Melania Trump, her family came in legally. And so we just need to go back to that. But there's nothing wrong with that. We need immigrants. We need people to come, but not illegally. And they don't need to come in a way that puts their family and their loved ones at great danger. And that's what's happened these last 4 years.
President Trump has said that Bishop Budde and the church owe the public an apology for what she said. Do you agree with him?
Well, I don't know, but certainly she was wrong, and she took advantage of that pulpit, which was really a national pulpit at that point, for her own personal agenda, and that was wrong.
President Trump, in his inauguration speech, stated something he said to me actually privately the week after he got shot, which was that he believed, that's why I genuinely believe he believes this, that God saved him for a greater purpose, and as he sees it, of making America great again, saving America. I mean, do you agree with him? And what do you make of Trump talking much more openly, really, about faith and about God, particularly since he survived an assassination attempt?
Well, he had I think it's probably a 55-grain bullet go within a millimeter of his brains at over 3,000 feet per second. And it got his attention, and he just turned his head just slightly there at that last moment, and the bullet missed him. And he believes God saved his life. I do too, no question about it. I think God reached down and saved Donald Trump's life, and I believe it is for a greater purpose. And I hope the president remembers that every day. I've encouraged the president, when he wakes up in the morning, roll out of bed and get on your knees beside your bed, just ask God for help. Just say, God, help me today. And he'll do that because he's got an incredible, I don't know how the man does it to begin with, but he's got an incredible responsibility. And I just think we better pray for him and cover him in prayer, because there's a lot of people that would like to stop him, including this Bishop, whatever her name is, Budde or whatever. Oh, yeah. And she would like to stop him. And And there are a lot of people out there that just hate the president because of what he stands for. He stands for common sense. They don't want common sense. He stands for truth. They don't want truth. They want the lies that we've been hearing for the last 4 years. And the president needs our help. He needs our prayers. And I stand beside him. I'm not going to agree with everything he does. I promise you that. He'll do things and say things, and I have policies that I disagree with. But I look at the man overall, what he's going to do for this country. He's going to move this country forward. And that's what we need. If he can bring the gas prices down, that's going to help everybody. If food prices come down, that's going to help everybody, Piers. Poor, rich, I don't care who you are, it's going to help everybody. And so I'm going to pray for him and stand beside him.
You must have, I guess, prayed privately with President Trump, have you?
Yes, I have.
I mean, did you get a feeling that he's a man of real faith?
I believe so. No question, he believes, okay? At what level and depth, of a person's spiritual walk, we're all at different levels. But no question, he believes.
You're going to see him, I think, next week in North Carolina. I think he's visiting. Are you planning to see him then?
He's coming Friday, yes, sir. So I'll see him Friday.
You've known him a long time. Do you think Trump has changed? I've had about 5 or 6 conversations with him since he got shot. I have detected a slight change in him, not in like the kind of rhetoric or anything else, but just about him surviving something that should have killed him. And later, the incident on the golf course where he came very close to being killed again, but also by getting a second chance, not just at life, but at the presidency. I do feel like he's a slightly changed man. Do you get that feeling?
I sense that, Piers, no question. I think there's a difference in the way his demeanor. I think there's a difference in just the way he carries himself. I do believe that he sees himself differently than he did 4 years ago.
Have you given him any advice for the second time round?
No, my advice is to ask God for help. That's my advice. Just let God help you, and he'll do it.
And when you suggested he do that, did he agree? Is he going to get out of bed and pray every morning, do you think?
Sure. Just, when you get up, before you have your cup of coffee, just say, God, help me today. I need your help. Thank you. And it doesn't have to be a 10-minute prayer. It could be a 2-second prayer. And God will hear you. If you really mean it, God will hear it, and he'll answer those prayers.
But have you had the chance to tell President Trump this bit of advice yet?
I've shared that with him.
And what did he say?
He listens. Sometimes he doesn't say anything. He just listens. And I think that's, he hears you.
I think if I survived an assassination attempt by